Agriculture Commissioner for the mighty state of Texas. Sid Miller, our guest at the moment, and the new world screwworm threat. It's a real threat to Texas and U.S. agriculture. So let's roll the clock back a little bit, Commissioner. Tell us how this popped up in the southern Mexico, Central American border a few months ago and sounded all sorts of alarms. And explain to working people what this new world screwworm threat is. What is this and how dangerous it is to livestock?
Well, this is something we eradicated in the 1960s, and it's popped back up last November on the border of Guatemala and Mexico. We had one case. So we shut the border down. We spent $121 million. I don't know exactly where that went, but we did. And it's still spreading. Unfortunately, it's in 7 of the Mexican states in the southern part. It's still 700 miles from us. That's the good news. But it's up to about 1,400 cases, maybe more by today. So to eradicate it, we release sterile male flies, and we do that because the fly mates one time and that's it. So if we can get them to mate with sterile flies, we'll eventually eliminate the population. The problem is we don't have a facility that can produce enough flies. There's one facility left in Panama. We used to have 3. Mexico and the United States had one also. Now, we just sent $21 million to open a plant or a lab in Mexico. So hopefully we'll get that up and running. And then there's legislation working its way through Congress to open one here in Texas or the U.S. So that would give us plenty of flies. Problem is, we're moving at the speed of government, which is not very fast. And the fly is moving faster than the speed that we're moving. So we do have a excellent tool that we did not have in the 60s, and it's called ivermectin, which is a wormer, an anthelmintic, and another one called Dectomax. If you give your cattle this, it will kill the larva, and the larva actually will eat live flesh. It's rotting live flesh. It's very pungent. I'll never. If you've ever seen it or smelt it, you'll never get it out of your mind. It's that bad. So, but this is a tool that we can use. People can put this on their cattle, not worry about them getting the screwworm, or if they get an infestation, they can give them this. It'll knock it right out. So that's a new tool. It's going to make it a lot easier for us to control.
Man, how do you produce all these flies? Or you can't produce. Well, you take a little fly at a time, give them a vasectomy one at a time to keep going. You're trying to figure out where $120 million under the previous administration went to try to eradicate this problem. I'm thinking maybe it was flipped and they use it for fly asylum to enter southern Mexico. But now we've got Secretary Rollins under the Trump administration set aside like over $20 million, I understand, to try to expand a sterile fly facility in Mexico to complement whatever was done before. How quickly can they turn around and start providing this into the acres, population, the livestock herds down there?
Well, not fast enough to suit everybody. Obviously, if they we need it today to build that facility, and maybe they can retrofit an existing one. They have to bring in the people, the expertise. So it's going to take a little time. I'm going to say, tops, it's going to be at least 6 weeks, maybe more. We'll see.
Wow. So they still need to build that facility or designate it and start and lab producing all this stuff. There was you provided a write-up that our senators, Ted Cruz, John Cornyn, folks in the House, they're working on something called the Stop Screwworms Act. And they want to establish a domestic sterile fly production facility in the state of Texas. Where would it be placed at optimum? Would it need to be on the U.S.-Mexican border? Try to intercept that, or where do you think it should go if they are able to get this done?
Well, it doesn't really matter where it's built. We would like to have it here in Texas. They haven't designated a location. But we put those flies on airplanes and distribute them, through the air. So
okay.
It could actually from the United States. So we load them up and then we fly to the infected areas, those 7 Mexican states, and drop them out there, and then drop some in the surrounding states is a precaution. Is the way it would work.
Now, let me take you back to what you mentioned earlier on getting Mexico's attention. That was in the previous administration. They shut down the border. No Mexican beef, which begs a question for me. How much beef on U.S. dinner tables comes from Mexico? That's kind of news to me. I didn't realize that the product was readily available, and they expect it to export to us on a regular basis.
Well, two things. We have a shortage of beef right now, so we need feeder cattle from Mexico. We actually get about 50% of our feeder cattle from Mexico.
How much, Commissioner? You broke up there. How much? 15% or what?
15% of our stocker cattle.
Okay.
They usually come in the month of November, December, and January, and we turn them out on winter pasture, wheat pasture mainly. So, but we've missed all that. Most of that was all shut down, so we didn't get them. So it's going to drive the cost of beef up a little bit. So, yeah, that's where we are on that. Right. And Mexico has a lot of cattle up here for us to feed out, and when they get fat and ready to process, we ship them back. So it's kind of a two-way street.
There we go. It's I forgot that immigration program where we imported workers and sent them back. There we go. Bracero beef program. That's what I'll name that one. The Bracero beef. Hey, let me ask you about the carve out in recent funding to help South Texas and border growers that were negatively affected by Mexico not delivering its promised water under the treaty. So there were like $200 some odd million set aside to carve out for South Texas growers. Now, I wanted to ask you how this is being distributed, the money. It's because I was told by a friend that growers are having to apply through or use their water district membership or apply through their water districts in order to get done, which makes sense to me. If you get water from a water district, that water comes from the Rio Grande, water from the Rio Grande that we did not receive, and hence it hurt the farmers, right? It's only limited to growers that work with water districts and get water from the Rio. No dryland farmers are benefiting from this, right?
No, it's not for dryland farmers. It's for those farmers that was denied water from Mexico.
Yeah.
So they actually, to my agency, Texas Department of Agriculture, we had a drop dead date of May 22nd. We were getting so many applications, I extended to June 5th. That is drop dead. I will not extend it. So you've got 2 days left to get your application. We want to get that out the door as soon as possible. It's $280 million. We're up to about 1,600 applications. So we're getting the word out there, and it's helping. You can go to one of our local offices and get help if you need it. Basically, it's pretty simple. You can go online, texasagriculture.gov, and fill out the application there. What they have to do is go to their local water district that provides their irrigation water and get certified from them that they were, were in the water program in the years 23 and 24. Okay. That's basically all the documentation that they need. I want to get that out soon. We've got a lot of farmers that are on the edge of bankruptcy because they couldn't plant their crops, didn't have any water. So I'd like to get that out by the end of the month or at least no later than the month of July. Okay. June 5th is the date it was extended. That's a hard date. By end of business, June 5th, right, Commissioner? That's correct. Okay. That will not be. Will not be extended. Get it in or close the business June 5th. Okay. First come. Yeah. First come, first serve, right? That's the way it's going to work, right? Well, it's non-competitive. Everybody that applies will get a payment. And what I'll do, I'll get the total number of acres, that are eligible. We don't know what that is yet, and I'll divide it into 280 million, and it'll be that much per acre, and you'll get, that number of times on your farm. Okay. And obviously, since they're working through the water district for the application, if they do not provide that data through the water district, dryland farmers, nobody can sneak in the back door and try to get some of this money. It's only going to be folks that tap into the Rio Grande. Okay. Yeah, we're good stewards of money. It's not for dryland farmers. They weren't denied water. It's just for the irrigated farmers. And the only thing they need from the water district is certification that, they had water coming, irrigation water coming that, wasn't received. Want to get your the rest of the applications through my department, Texas Department of Agriculture. All right, sir.
Sid
I
Miller.
just need documentation.
Yes, sir. Sid Miller, Commissioner of Agriculture, State of Texas. Want to get your, as we close, want to get your final comments. Legislative session done. Comments on the legislative session. I know you had some comments on THC, the ban on that, pending the governor's signature. Any other ag-related gains or things that happened during the legislative session you want to share?
Well, we got some good water legislation. Of course, your area suffers as bad as anybody. Legislature is put in $20 billion to fix water infrastructure. You know, we got some of those irrigation channels down there from those irrigation districts lose 40% of their water.
Yeah.
Some of your cities down there, 40%. We want to fix that. We want to bring those up to date, and so they're not losing water. We can't afford to lose 30 and 40% of our water. So that is going to be great to get that done. The sooner the better.
How much money did you say that lawmakers set aside for this up in Austin?
$20 billion with
$20 billion. All right. And how do you tap something like that? Like I would imagine the water districts need, or the first ones need to stand in line to improve the canals.
Well, the various aspects of the bill is some of it's through the TCEQ, some of it will be from the Texas Water Development Board, some of it may go directly to the irrigation districts. I don't have all the details in front of me, but
still needs to work out. That's quite a bit. Yeah. Anybody run a study how much money it could cost to fix all the canals? I'm curious. I'm thinking $20 billion probably won't be enough. I'm just curious.
Well, I think we can get our infrastructure fixed, and that's the quickest and easiest way to save water and get more water is quit losing it, quit squandering it.
Sure. State of Texas set aside anything for desal, get some brackish water cleaned up, or Gulf of Mexico water cleaned up? Anything like that happen? Legislative session?
Yeah, there was a bill there. I haven't seen the final results of it, but it was to take produced water, which is kind of like brackish water, but for every barrel of produced, there's 5 barrels of water produced, and it's nasty water. But it was a bill to allow your farmers, to irrigate with that, as long as they clean it up. So, not sure where that one ended up in the process. We'll have to review that and see.
Commissioner, thank you for all your time, sir. Appreciate the call. Our Agriculture Commissioner for the state of Texas, Sid Miller. Be well.